So my first movie that I've seen from March is Whiskey Tango Foxtrot, or as my sister likes to call it, WTF. So Whiskey Tango Foxtrot stars Tina Fey and it involves a journalist going to Afghanistan during wartime.
The network needs reporters on the ground in Afghanistan.
And you folks are all the unmarried, childless personnel in this bureau. Kim, are you going to be joining in?
The travel or the crime?
How many people do you need?
Because last year showed us that comedies can definitely work in Afghanistan, can't they? I haven't seen the movie. Looks terrible. I know I'm going to have to see it. There's a lot of bad reviews for that one, but this is not Rock the Casbah. I definitely really enjoyed this movie. This is definitely not just a comedy. This has a lot more drama in it, and because it's in a wartime, it has a lot of violence and actual action in the movie.
He's back in the car!
Those assholes tried to shoot us!
Hoorah, Baker. Guess so.
I think everyone did a really great job in this movie. Tina Fey was really amazing. Margaret Robbie was really good. Martin Freeman was actually one of my favorites in this movie because he was just so different from what I'm used to. Yeah, he's kind of like the jerk character that you ultimately still love because he's kind of cool and there's something about him that shows that, yeah, he has some heart to him. Doc Ock played this Afghanian, just political leader of sorts. He was really goofy in the movie.
I like you, Kim. I like your mouthiness. That is a word, yes?
Vale.
It reminds me of my time living in London. You make me feel like a young man again. But I do not know you. How can we get to know each other, Kim?
Yes, excellent, Kim!
The turban on her, she'd make a very handsome boy.
And Billy Bob Thornton was in it. I totally didn't realize he was in this movie until I saw it. Again, everyone was really great in this movie. I have no problems with the acting whatsoever. Now I will say this. Surprisingly, this movie has a lot of partying in it, which I didn't expect from this movie. And it was handled fine in this movie. It just felt like those parts were a bit more of the mediocre stuff throughout this movie. One of the things I had worried about going into this movie is when I saw the trailer and it looked like, oh, it could be a fun comedy, but something seems off about it. I was worried that it would be more like a fluff piece rather than an actual serious story. But you know what? Towards the second half of this film, it gets serious. And you know this kind of thing happens. Even in some of the comedies that aren't really dramas, do have a serious note by the end of the movie before it gets comedic again. But this one slowly progresses into a real drama. It's a lot deeper than I thought it would be, especially when it's most of the first half of the film is just partying and having fun and just getting the story. It does tackle a little bit of an issue of wartime journalists, how maybe they could get excitement from this sort of job and just keep doing this job because it gets them excited and they become addicted to it in a way. And surprisingly, that's what's happening to Tina Fey's character as the movie progresses, as well as other characters around her. And I thought that was actually pretty deep and really interesting. I'm serious, as the movie progresses, it gets a lot more dangerous, a lot more stakes are involved, and there's some really graphic, gruesome scenes. There's an action sequence towards the end of the film that reminds me of Zero Dark 30. Very much like the suspenseful final scene of Zero Dark 30. Just played to a very ironic song when you have the context of what's actually happening. Now, one of the things I really expect from this type of movie is getting a lot of the culture of this other country, but we don't get a lot of that we don't already know. Oh, I forgot to mention, there was another person that was really good in this film. The character's name was Fahim. He was the guy that Tina Fey is with from the beginning of the film, and he's sort of like, well, not the guide, but translator as well, and he's part of that country.
Shut up, the pussy!
She says, welcome to Afghanistan.
The actor's name is Christopher Abbott, and he did a really good job. He and Tina Fey had some really great chemistry, really great friendship, and not like loving friendship, not like the kind that eventually sparks into a romance. This movie didn't go there, at least. Well, it did go there with her and Martin Freeman, but it's nice to see that a girl and a guy could be just friends in this sort of comedy drama without being a romantic subplot. Overall, this was a really good movie. It had a lot more drama, a lot more action, and a lot more depth than I would have expected from this movie, while still feeling fun and funny at times. There are some moments throughout the film that are a bit more mediocre, while there are moments that are just truly really great. I feel there's enough great moments in this film that I have no issues whatsoever at giving Whiskey Tango Foxtrot 4 stars. So did you see Whiskey Tango Foxtrot, or did you see Zootopia or London Has Fallen, because those are the two that were most likely seen before Whiskey Tango Foxtrot? But if you have, what did you think about it? Go ahead and comment below. And if you like this video and you want to see more, please subscribe and check out my playlist for 2015 and 2016 movie reviews. As always, this is Bruce Gifford, and this was Just My Opinion.